Hello everyone, Brenda here at Blasterworks, and guess what? Today we are done with the Lone Stranger adventure, and I'm going to do a flip through / reading of the story for you, okay? And then afterwards I will go into some of the details of this journal in case there's any questions, and hopefully I will answer them when I talk about it. But just for starters, this is a Spooky Divas challenge. I'm sure many of you are aware of it. And it's done at today, October 31st. It is finished. So here we are. And I'm just going to let you know this challenge had 10 days of prompts. Each day had 3 prompts. And you had all month to do the 10 days. Now you're thinking, well, 30, you have 30 days to do 10 days, But I added an extra challenge to my challenge by creating a story with the prompts. So, and then I decided to make it rhyme, which is another challenge. And also, because I have a YouTube channel, I'm like, well, then I got to do a video. So I had to churn out a video probably every 3 days, roughly every 3 days, to get this done on time. So, some days it was a little bit longer in between, but you know what I mean. So it was quite a bit of a challenge, and I am so glad that I'm done now. I did it. Okay, but let's get started, all right? You got your blanket, hot cocoa, maybe a cup of coffee. All right, snuggle up. It's not a very long story, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but here we go, okay? And like I said, at the end of the video, I'll go into everything else. All right. So this is our Spooky Divas challenge for October 2025. Our table of contents. And these are the 10 days with the prompts. And then these are the order of the story. And we are now going to start with day 1, and we're going to end up at day 10, okay? And I think what I'll do is I will take the prompts once I edit this video and put them in the very corner of each page so that you can see how it works. And I think I'm going to I'll zoom in too so you guys can see a little bit better, but I don't know, sometimes when I zoom in the quality is not that great. But anyways, let's get started, okay? Why is everybody and their mama got to drive down the street when I'm trying to read a story? Anyway. Tired and weary, chilled to the bone, I've traveled so far. I stumbled upon an abandoned house, its front door slightly ajar. The moon is the only light helping lead the way. The voice inside my head says leave, but I decide to stay. I only want to rest a bit before I travel on. I step across the threshold, decide I'll leave at dawn. The place is full of spiderwebs, old furniture, and dust. So this shiny knife I find is odd. Is that dried blood or rust? I go in further, walking slowly, as critters scurry by, when I spot a dark silhouette from the corner of my eye. With knife in hand, I whirl around and lunge at what I struck. Shards fly everywhere, and all I'm left with is a torn sleeve and 7 years of bad luck. I manage to find the kitchen with its wood-burning stove. I rummage through the cupboards, and I find a treasure trove. Canned goods in jars, enough to make a stew. Needle and thread to mend my sleeve, and a 6-pack of witch's brew. As my stew simmers slowly, I investigate some more. I find an old cabinet made of metal with a glass door. Inside is filled with bottles, potions, spices, poison. It's hard to say, for most of the labels are missing or have all been worn away. I grab one with a red ghost on it. Dare I add it to the pot? I lift the lid, add a swig, and taste. Good Lord, that's frickin' hot. My mouth's on fire, I'm seeing stars, a mistake was made, no doubt. I'm sweating profusely, guzzling witch's brew, and just like that, it's lights out. Minutes, hours, days have passed. I peek through half-closed lids. It's way too bright, disco's blaring, and I'm surrounded by dancing kids? Where is the dark and dusty house? Am I dreaming or am I dead? Did I cross into another realm? I need to clear my head. I stumble across the crowded room as the Bee Gees sing, "You Should Be Dancing," passing by some spooky portraits before realizing one is my own reflection. Was it the potion, mushrooms, or the brew? I need a breath of fresh air. I hurry out the front door and fall down the wooden stairs. I think to myself, this night can't get any worse as I land hard to the ground. Now I'm covered in orange mush, for it's a rotten pumpkin patch I found. I lay there contemplating my life choices. Something about sowing what you reap. I know I should keep my eyes open, but the ringing in my ears lulls me to sleep. Ring-a-ling, ting-a-ling, I'm hearing bells in my ear. My eyes are shut, but I see light. I don't open them out of fear. Last I recall, I had a fall outside an abandoned house. Now I'm feeling movement near my face, possibly a large rat or a field mouse. I slowly try to open my eyes. My head is throbbing in pain. I sneak a peek, scared of what I'll find, knowing I've possibly gone insane. But lo and behold, to my surprise, I'm lying in my own bed. The bells I heard and the fur I felt are from my cat as he's sleeping by my head. The end. Get it? The end. I cracked myself up. That's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing the story as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you guys. Thanks again for being here, and hold on because I'm about to go into the details of this book. All right, hold on a second. All right, so hopefully if you guys have any questions, I can answer it real quickly. I'll just go through this. This journal was a photo book I found at the flea market for $1. Hold on. airplane going by. That's what happens when you live right near the airport. All right, so I got this for $1, and inside it had pictures of like whales and stuff. If you watch my playlist, which I'll link below for this Spooky Divas challenge, I'll link the playlist in the description. You'll see how it looked beforehand. But yeah, I got it for $1. The cover is decorated by using the Junk Journal Junctions bingo game for October, and the numbers I got, I had to do a tag, which I have this, leaves, the color green, which I have here, and a button, which I have here. And so that's how I decorated my cover. And the Lone Stranger, if those of you who are not on Instagram or just now joining my YouTube, you may not be familiar with him. He is a character that I invented during ICAD Index Card a Day Challenge in 2023. And he ended that challenge like the last maybe week or so. He was on all the cards. And again, it was like a story, but no words, just him walking. And we're like, where is he going? Where, and so the prompts made the card and made his like surroundings by using the prompts. So it was pretty cool. So if you're on Instagram, you'd have to scroll through my pictures to see it, but it was pretty cool. Anywho, okay, so that's this. Now this Spooky Divas, the letters here I printed out on my printer, and I got this off Free Fonts. It's a website where you can put in what you want and search different kind of fonts. And I searched the Ransom fonts, and I liked this one. And then I just I printed it out and cut it out and just glued it there. And this is one of the scraps. This figure looks familiar because he's on the page with the broken mirror. This was my sketch, and then I just put him here. The table of contents is our prompt list. And I don't mind these letters peeking out from behind from the original book. I did that on purpose. It doesn't bother me. All right, and then these, if you watch, like I said, watch the playlist, you'll know what everything is. These are citrus, I don't know, National Geographic papers that they use the Citrusolve on. And it was gifted to me by a friend of mine. And then I just, I inserted him after the fact, and that is our Lone Stranger. I drew him in after I had already posted this page. And then, of course, we have these pages. And like I said, you can watch my videos to see how I did most of this. But I'll just go over anything that might... here, I added the mushrooms after the fact. This is an old advert from a magazine. And then this I discovered yesterday as I was reading the book again. Look what it says up here. Elixir Lucid Dreams. Is that perfect or what? I didn't even notice that when I put that on there. When I decorated, this was an old 7-Up bottle from a 7-Up ad, and I just put some stickers over it to make it the Witch's Brew. But when I read that, I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. That fit right in there, and I didn't even know it. And then as you see, another old advert. This was Tabasco, and I just covered it. We have our stew. This cat, this is Casey, my brother's cat. And he's always judging people. And so he ends up in a lot of my artwork. When I went to visit my brother years ago, he had this cat, Casey, he's still alive. And he would just sit there and stare at me the whole time I was visiting. And then finally he got on the bed with me and started laying down by my feet. But yeah, so we just call him Casey, the judging cat. And like I said, I'll insert him on a lot of my art pieces. He'll just be hidden somewhere, or in journals that I make for other people. He'll be hidden in there somewhere. Let's see, this, you guys remember this from that? It's acetate, him falling. There's the button that matches the one on the front. Oh, one on the front, on the side. I did add this eye afterwards. That's also from an old book. And then this page, there's no process video on the last page because I wanted it to be a surprise. This bed and this window with the table are from that book, that children's book. What is it? wild things out there or something like that. The bed was shorter, so I had to lengthen it, and then I had that image of the bed was in the book 3 times altogether, the big one and then 2 smaller ones. So what I did was I cut the blanket out from the 2 smaller versions and used it to lengthen the bed. So there's a lot of collaging here. You could see part of the kid's horn or tail or whatever, the kid that's in the costume in that story. Again, I didn't cover it up because it's part of the thing. And then the words back here from the original page, I didn't cover up. This cat is from a children's book also. And then I did the walls like this with the tea bags to mimic the one that we have here, to mimic this wall, to kind of tie it in. And then on the last page, here's the ribbon for prompt 10 ribbon, and Black Cat is here, and then texture is on this page. But yeah, this card I got at the flea market, and I originally was going to use him as my Black Cat, but then when I realized, I'm like, oh wait, that should be the end. Not only that, but he didn't fit the look, right? It's kind of, there's a look, even though I used different images from different storybooks, from different magazines, everything, there's still a certain look to these pages, and I wanted to keep that throughout the story. And so this guy, he's better at the end, like that. Oh, I love it. And I think that's it. Someone asked me about my rat silhouettes. The rat silhouettes, I just Googled, and then I trace off my phone sometimes. Like I'll have the image on my phone, and then I'll just put a piece of tracing paper over it and just trace it over my phone. That's one thing I do. If I'm too lazy to draw it myself, because I can draw it myself, but sometimes I'm like, nah, I'll just copy it. You know what I mean? Use the tools that are available. But yeah, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions about anything in this book, please ask below, and I will make sure I answer it for you, okay? All right. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks, everyone. Happy Halloween. Love y'all. Tschüss.